Hi, it's Jay from Iridescent Tarot, back with some more sparkle for you. So today I wanted to do a walkthrough of the Tarot de Aux Arcs, and this is a deck that's been on my radar for a long time now. I think I've known about the deck for years, but it's really been on my wish list for the last 6 or so months, and what pushed me over the edge is the channel Sybil's Lab of Cartomantics here on YouTube, comprised of Amelia Joy and Danielle Maribel. And Amelia in particular, this is one of her all-time favorite decks, and she talks about it a lot. And so I had asked Amelia if she had the time and wanted to, if she would make a walkthrough of this deck, kind of describing all the different things that she sees in it, in order to kind of share the different insights that she's gleaned over the years working with this deck. And in the meantime, I just couldn't wait to have this deck, so I ordered it, and now that it's here, I've watched and rewatched Amelia's video and taken notes, and am excited to use this deck as part of the Marseille study that I'm doing with Shanna and Erin. Part of the first week's assignment for our Marseille study is to just walk through our decks and kind of notice the different observations that we have about the cards, and to not really interpret them, but to just notice them. And so I kind of wanted to just do this on camera because I'm so excited about this deck, and also I think it's helpful to have like a baseline that you can compare future you to, right? So these are the things that I'm noticing right now, having not really I haven't worked with this deck at all. The only thing that I've done is I've edged the sides in orange because I felt like it really needed it. So it arrived. I edged it within a couple of hours of it arriving, and now I'm doing this walkthrough, and then I'm going to free myself to use this. Some of the specs on this deck, this was ordered off of Printer Studio, which is another print-on-demand website, kind of like MPC. So I don't know the specifics of their cardstock, but it is very reminiscent of the standard smooth on MPC. It does have that thing, that clicky bow that really bothers Erin. I don't really mind it all that much, but it's just good to know. These paintings were created by Lumi, whose Instagram is Pranic Room. That Instagram has not been active for a while. Anyways, so I would just like to share some of my initial thoughts, having no experience with Marseille, and just the things that I noticed right off the bat with this deck. Some of the font at the bottom can be hard to read, but that adds to the charm, honestly. I really like loose, scribbly, abstract type artwork, and so I just have a real affinity to this type of artwork. The color palette of this deck isn't something that I normally would gravitate to, but there's just something about it that's really captivating and makes me want to investigate the cards deeper. And this is a 78 card digitally manipulated acrylic painting deck that's been around for many years now. Another one of the videos that I watched that was fantastic was Naha from 22 Teachings. Anyways, I really like the blending of the colors down here in the trees. Those stand out. It seems pretty apparent just from looking at the card that the colors are the part that were painted in person, and then the line work was digitally added on top. But that's my speculation. Here we have the Magician. He's really skeptical, looking off to the side. And I love that his hat is the lemniscate. Yeah, he almost looks kind of guilty, he doesn't want people to know what he's doing on his table. The Pepes, per Naha's video, the Pepes is linked to Justice, and they both have that same piercing gaze straight forward at the reader, and there's a link between them and the Black Madonna. The Empress has just this beautiful rainbow of color down here at the bottom of her dress, and it's like a V pointing downwards. She does look kind of unimpressed with your nonsense. Emperor's colors giving very much old school McDonald's vibes. The Hierophant is interesting. The color of his jacket is just very, very opaque, and that's one of the things that Amelia had pointed out And that definitely stands out to me. I don't remember seeing this color all that often throughout the deck. Their heads almost look like fireworks to me. The Lovers is very muddy in the background. It's like very clear that it's unclear. If Amelia hadn't pointed out the intentional misspellings, I would have been like thrown off a little bit by that. But now that I know that it's on purpose, I think I'm able to kind of get over it. I will say though that some of them are harder to read than others. So you kind of have to know what you're looking at. I just really like how gritty and real the artwork is. Lumi had said that the color, each card has a color that reflects something particular about the meaning of the card itself. And so specifically in the Wheel of Fortune, it's a bright red of excitement, passion, danger, fate. And that is different than meaning than the red that's in the Devil, which is more of a, even though it's the same color, bright red, it's intended to be about like red hot anger type emotion. I like how in Justice there's the red and the blue in the scales there. So the Hanged Man is one of my favorite cards in this deck, just because the painting was intended to be this doorway, but also like the Hangman could be suspended in water, and that dual meaning of both of those things is very interesting. I love this Death card as well. Something about the color, like even though it's very dark and gloomy around Death, there's still like a little bit of beautiful color within Death. It's interesting. It's like along the spine and in the sacrum. From Naha's video, Temperance is about the brownness, low-key moderation, mixing and muddying ingredients. And I really like that the font on Temperance is a lot more, I don't know, temperate than some of the more scribbly or hard to read like Force. I know there's something about having the face on the stomach in Marseille, but I don't know too much about it. Like one's one style and not having it is a different style. I find these dots to be really interesting. Like they almost reflect the color that's happening in the card, right? You have like the reds from down here, the black from down here, but then the blue is totally out of the blue. And I wonder what meaning that might hold. The star with the firework looking stars in the background. The moon is one of my favorite cards in this deck here. The colors of this tower over here with that like kind of match the water down below, but you don't have both towers looking like that. And actually these dots kind of look like the ones that are in the tower, right? You have the blue and the red. The sun almost looks like one of the stage cards from the RWS, right? With a very flat background. I like how there's colors up here that are very bright and clearly defined, like red, yellow, blue. But then as you get down lower, like the colors are more muted. So it's the same colors. You have the red, yellowish, green, and blue, but like they're kind of muddied down below. There's clarity and murkiness. The world is very clear compared to the other images. So I guess that's something that you could read into, right? Like the clarity of the end. One of the things that I really liked that Amelia did was show the suit in its entirety in color. And I just thought it was so interesting to see that the wands, there was only one blue card. And what card is that? And what kind of meaning does that have for the Six of Wands? I don't know. I just think it's interesting. The way that the batons are cut off very much looks to me like, I don't know, like a turkey leg at a Renaissance fair or something. Like they're just like a cartoon version of meat cut off somehow to me in that card specifically. So we've got 3 white backgrounds in a row. And you can kind of see the flower really blooming from the 2 to the 3. There's a big difference here. And where this looks more like a weapon or something kind of aggressive, these more look decorative to me. And this is almost more wilted. And you go from the white rose of friendship to kind of a red rose of maybe romance or love. And again, you can see the growth from the 4 to the 5. There's just like bolder lines that are more frenetic over here. Like there's a lot of energy happening. Here you have what almost looks like negative imprints of the roses. Like it looks like a stamp because you have the outline of the rose in the same blue. That's the background. It almost reminds me of a like a scratch ticket because you can see underneath. It almost looks like the same color as some of the other cards under the blue, and then you kind of scratched off the parts that you can see. I loved this card. This was one of the cards that cinched me buying this deck. I saw on Instagram one of Lumi's posts was that everything that is on these cards is there for a reason, and how like it's up to the reader to determine what those things mean. So for me, this looks like a pearl of wisdom in the midst of all this kind of chaos energy. And she specifically used that card to demonstrate her point. This is interesting that all the color is down here on the left bottom, and then there's a lot of clarity up in the right top corner. This card is very overwhelming to look at. It's like there's not a lot of boundary between the wands and the background and what else is going on. It's very disintegrated and yeah. This card to me looks like burnt out matchsticks. Like they've paid their price, they've done their job, and now they're just like, they're wasted. He looks kind of bored with his baton. Like there's this cloud that's like, come look at me and like lighten up a little bit, but he's just kind of focusing on the baton. Amelia's commentary about the horse facing the left and the knight facing the right was really interesting. And one of the things that I had noticed in her walkthrough as well, when she mentioned that the red from the baton reflects the red from her crown, to me, this again looks like the wand is something that had been wounded, right? Like the extra branches have been cut off, and those wounds are being worn by her. Like, this is what I've gone through. This is what I've overcome. He looks like very plain for a king. Like his hat is very unassuming. She looks more regal than he does. The color story for this is a little bit more neutral, and there's one pink card, and this is the only pink card in the deck. I just love the Ace of Cups here. I think that the color selection is so beautiful. I also love this Two of Cups, where you have these bright red full cups, and then the rest of everything just like fades into the background. Here you can see that even though it looks like a white background, it's actually like a light gray background. There's a little bit more differentiation happening over here than what was going on over here. This looks like a vacation to me. This is very like south of France, I don't know, French Riviera. The way that these cups are, it feels like there's 4 cups that they have something good in them that's red, and then this one green cup that's being offered in the middle is like poison. I liked Amelia's interpretation of this, having these like magical snowflakes or sparkles or raindrops. Just, it feels very like frozen in time of a Hallmark moment. Or maybe like a snow globe. This card with the background that's got concrete gray, but then the splotch in the center having a beautiful gradient from yellow to peachy orange. Something about that middle cup really just stands out. This is so much less ornate than the other cards. There's just not a lot going on there. These cups are like, some of them are full, more full than others. And the daisies are beautiful. Very organized and clean cut. Interesting that the bottom of the shelf here is black with the X. It almost gives this vibe of like, we want you to look up here. We want you to see this here, here, here. But like below, there's like a lot of weight from all these cups sitting on this shelf, and a tiny, tiny little 10 that's like holding them all up. His outfit is giving crossing guard. The horse, or whatever the animal that it's supposed to be, is kind of looking straight at the reader, being like, get this guy off of me. I think this card is pretty. It's got like a lot of different color elements to it that I like to look at it. And the king. His cup is so much bigger than the queen's cup. Okay. The swords. So I feel like this brown one really stands out. That's the only, I think that might be the only brown card in the deck. Another one of my favorite cards is this Ace of Swords. It's just so minty fresh. But it still cuts. It's like, it's cutting. It's got the, what could almost be blood drops coming down. I really like the color story here. This has like a lot of intricacies going on in the center, and then there are things happening outside of the swords that you can't really tell. Like there are white lines that are outlining more flowers out there, but you can't really see them that well. But the closer that you get to the center, the more defined everything is. This reminds me of like an old French gate. Like it's antique wrought iron with paint over it that's been like chipping off. I didn't really see when Amelia was walking through and mentioned that this deck has like a bloody feel to it. I didn't get it until I had this in my hand, but I can see how whatever's happening here is like, yeah, one in blood. This card really asks you to use your imagination at the top, because it's like almost all gone, and it's pretty ill-defined at the bottom as well, but like in the very center where you have the flower, you can really see clearly. This to me looks like a dragon's eye. I don't know, like it, that's what I could, it's just the vibe. Or like a lizard eye or something menacing. But if you look above it, this is so beautiful, but everything else is kind of like dark and scary. This looks like a firework to me as well, in the middle. but it's like very boxed in. Like it wants to expand beyond its boundary, and the swords are like caging it in. Here you can only peek through this little window of what's happening. You can see that there's more to be seen, but you don't know exactly what it is. It feels like a heavy card, very mocha chocolate coffee heavy. This is giving like a schmear, like smeared it. And there's something about that black drop in the middle that either looks like a darkened teardrop or just like sludge, something sludgy. He's really clinging onto that sword. Like, this is all I have. The horse rearing here is very much giving Knight of Wands energy to me, so I'm surprised to see it in the swords. She's scary. You can't even really tell what her title is. You can't read it that well, but you'd be like afraid to ask her. We don't need to clarify. There's like not a lot going on outside of him. Like he's got a lot of dimension and color on the inside, and then outside there's nothing. And for the coins, oh, that's a beautiful color story too. No standout ones there though. Yeah, bullseye, target symbol. Going shopping. I love the tradition of the artist or creator signing the Two of Pentacles, and I think that's fun. I wonder what this is, this K in the corner. Can you see it? Every time that I watched a walkthrough, this card was like the one that people would comment on the things they see. Cherries, pomegranates, gumballs, candy, different fruits and things. And this one just got a lot of reactions out of people. I think it looks like this specific pattern of oilcloth fabric. Let me see if I can pull up an example. Like, doesn't it look like that? Here we have this shield in the middle, the L. Wonder if that's L for Lumi. But the coins have no boundaries, like they have fuzzy edges. But this doesn't have fuzzy edges. Here it seems like the pentacles, the coins are doing well. Like they look like they're blooming, they're ready, like they're ready to be picked, but then all the foliage around them has died. Like these are about to expire if you don't pluck them off the vine soon, because everything else around them is dead. I like this one with that, again, snowy, but instead of it being falling down equally throughout, it's like very clustered to the middle. It's not evenly distributed. It's probably not meant to look like that, but it looks almost like a bird that's like pecking at one of the flowers here. Who knows? This also has that oilcloth vibe to me. But it's almost like it's been stamped and then it's been faded away a little bit by time, where this is at like also peak season that you want to get it before while the going's good or whatever. These look like poker chips. This one's so interesting to me. It's very, very geometric, and it's almost like hypnotizing the way that they like the square turns this way and this goes down, and it's like taking your eye away from the coins and making you focus on other things. It's kind of almost plays a trick on your eye. Do we usually see the page with two? It looks like he's got his pentacle here, but like, what's this down here? I liked Amelia pointing out that the pentacle here is very reflective of the sun, because you have like this landscape back here. Looks like they're basking in the sun. And this queen is looking up at her pentacle, like lovingly, gazing at it lovingly. She doesn't look severe like some of the other women in the deck. And the king is like, he has the pentacle, the coin on his lap, and he's looking up over his shoulder like, what are you gonna do? You really gonna try me for this? Okay. All right, let's give her a shuffle. Like I said, I did edge this already in Orange Sparkle. That was a lot of fun to do last night. I feel like it matches the backs well. The original version of the deck had these different backgrounds. They were red with like these starbursty looking patterns on it. It almost looked like Christmas wrapping paper, and I was really glad to see that the backs were redesigned in Lumi's actual artwork versus I don't know what the other one was, but it didn't really reflect the same art style as what's on the front of the card. So I was really glad to see the second edition get the update. Yeah, it shuffles just like standard smooth. One of the things that's been really interesting in watching videos about Marseille is seeing how much freer that it feels to read with than RWS. And even though I've tried to really open my intuition this last year to reading in a more casual style, I feel like, than I had previously been reading, I think that Marseille is going to kind of open that up even more for me. So I'm going to pull 3 cards asking this deck how we're going to work together, me and this deck. And I'm going to try reading it here. I keep in mind, I don't know how to read Marseille, so this is kind of just me spitballing and basing this off of just the few videos that I've watched. So here we go. So how are me and Tarot de Aux Arcs going to read together? Okay. So what I'm seeing right off the bat is, out of all the different color backgrounds that we could have gotten in this deck, I have 3 cards here that have white backgrounds. And so I guess to me that means that there's going to be a lot of clarity and openness and breathing room in the way that I work with this deck. I also noticed right off the bat that the color of the actual, like the colors in these cards are all kind of those like blends of the colors that I've enjoyed throughout the deck the most. So we've got like the mossy greens and the red, this like pomegranate juice red, and then some of this like dusty slatey blue. And we've got the, like, my favorite thing of this whole deck, which is this Pearl of Wisdom here that I had mentioned when looking at 7 of Wands. And it's almost like it's being picked up by the queen. Like there's this like pearl of knowledge, of wisdom that's being picked up. And by picking it up, it's allowing this like, moment, like, oh, I get it. Like it clicks. It's this moment of enlightenment that's happening. Like light is dawning upon me. And allowing for that clarity to come through, because the background of this is white and the like lights that are coming off of here that are shining down are white, and it's like this is coming up through the painting. It's also interesting that right now I have like these like light beams coming through. Like if I were to move this up, it really mimics what's happening in this Judgment card. Reading is very affirming to where I would like to be with this deck, to allow it to open me up to a different style of reading that I'm not used to, and expand my horizons and kind of glean some new knowledge that I didn't have before this all started. So I'm very happy to get the chance to read with this deck and learn Marseille. I hope that you enjoyed this walkthrough. If you did, please like and subscribe. Drop me a comment with your thoughts on the deck, anything that you noticed while I was walking through that I didn't point out. And I will link the videos that I mentioned down in the description box below. And I will talk to you later. Signing out.